If she chooses another man, let her go. Here's why you win. Stoic love. Imagine this. The woman you poured your heart and soul into, the one you built dreams with, walks away. Not for a fleeting argument, but for another man. Most men shatter. They drown in a sea of what-ifs, consumed by an agonizing pain that feels like the end of their world. But what if I told you this isn't the end, but the most profound beginning? What if this gut-wrenching heartbreak isn't a curse, but a disguised blessing, a crucible designed to forge you into the man you were always meant to be? This isn't about denial or anger or even getting her back. This is about reclaiming your power, mastering your emotions, and becoming utterly unshakable. Because while she expects you to be lost and broken, you're about to become the man she deeply regrets leaving. A man who never truly loses because he understands the profound power of letting go. If you're ready to transcend this pain, to transform regret into an unstoppable force, then keep watching. This will change everything. Welcome to Stoic Love. We're here to guide you through life's toughest challenges with the wisdom of ancient philosophy applied to modern relationships. Most men crumble when a woman chooses another. They descend into self-pity, desperately seeking closure, replaying every moment, tormented by the question, "What did I do wrong?" But a Stoic man, he sees the truth. He doesn't chase, he doesn't beg, he doesn't crumble. He understands that the moment she chose another man, she made a decision. And that decision wasn't about him, it was about her. The question is, will you let this destroy you, or will you let it forge you into something greater? Because the reality is, the moment she walked away, you were given a choice. You can stay broken, weak, and needy, or you can rise. You can embrace the mindset of a man who cannot be shaken, a man who wins by letting go. And make no mistake, you will win. While she expects you to be lost without her, you're about to become the man she deeply regrets leaving. The man who never truly loses, because he never attaches. If you're ready to master your emotions, reclaim your power, and make her see exactly what she threw away, then keep watching this video. Like it, subscribe to Stoic Love, and turn on notifications because what I'm about to tell you will change everything. Drop a comment below. A Stoic man sees the truth. We love hearing your thoughts and experiences. 1. The illusion of love. Love. It feels undeniably real, doesn't it? The way she smiled at you, that unique spark in her eyes when you walked into a room, the way her hand fit perfectly in yours, the soft whispers of promises exchanged in the quiet darkness, stretching into what felt like forever. It enveloped you, made you believe in a future carved out just for the two of you. But here's the stark, unvarnished truth. What you perceived as love was, in many cases, an illusion. A shimmering mirage, crafted by the intricate dance of your own emotions, by the projections and desires within your own mind. And now that she's gone, you're left grappling with the harsh realization that love, in its rawest, most exposed form, is often far less pure, less permanent, and less unwavering than it initially seems. Consider this common scenario. A man, like our friend Mark, pours every ounce of his being into a relationship. He dedicates his time, his energy, his emotional landscape, building his entire world around this one woman. He genuinely believes, with every fiber of his being, that she will always feel the same way. He creates a future in his mind where she is his unwavering partner, his constant, his everything. But feelings are temporary. They shift and churn like the unpredictable tides of the ocean, often without warning, beyond our control. One moment, she might swear her eternal love, her eyes filled with what appears to be profound devotion. The next, sometimes weeks, sometimes months later, she's in another man's arms, acting as if your shared history, your very existence together, never even happened. She might post pictures, share stories, and live a life that completely erases you from her narrative. And you, standing there amidst the wreckage of your expectations, are left broken, bewildered, asking yourself with agonizing intensity, how could she move on so easily? How could she forget everything we had, everything we built, with such alarming speed? The answer, though painful to accept, is remarkably simple. She never saw love the way you did. Men often love with a profound sense of loyalty, with a logical dedication, with an inherent desire for permanence. They see a woman as their steadfast partner, their future, the anchor of their entire world. They commit to the long haul, to overcoming challenges together, to building a life side by side. But often, women love based predominantly on how they feel in the moment. They are frequently driven by emotions, by the thrill of excitement, by a constant, almost insatiable need for novel stimulation and emotional highs. When that initial rush of newness begins to fade, when the intense emotional high of the early relationship settles into the comfortable, yet sometimes mundane routine of daily life, she might start looking elsewhere. This isn't necessarily because you did something inherently wrong, or because you weren't enough. It's often because, from a Stoic perspective, she was never truly yours to keep in the first place. This, my friends, is the grand illusion. The pervasive idea that love is unbreakable, that devotion is forever, that she will stand by you through every storm no matter what. It's a captivating fairy tale, a romantic fantasy that men are often sold from the tender age of youth through movies, songs, and societal narratives. We're taught to chase and win the princess, and then live happily ever after. But the Stoic man, he sees reality for what it is. He understands with clear-eyed acceptance that everything in life is fleeting, impermanent, and subject to change. And yes, this includes love and relationships. He doesn't foolishly beg for permanence in a world where every single thing is temporary. Instead, he wisely embraces detachment. When a woman chooses another man, most men spiral into a vortex of despair. They become desperate, trying frantically to prove their worth, trying to ignite her memory of the beautiful moments they once shared. They send endless texts, make frantic calls, and plead with an almost unbearable intensity. But all they are truly doing, in that moment, is proving their profound weakness. Because the instant you begin to seek validation from the one who willingly chose to leave, you implicitly tell her, "You still have immense power over me." A Stoic man, however, never gives away his power. He doesn't attempt to win her back. He doesn't chase after someone who has already made her choice, someone who has clearly indicated she no longer desires to be a part of his journey. Instead, he consciously steps back, allows her to go, and profoundly understands a fundamental, liberating truth. She was never his possession to lose. And it is precisely in that powerful realization, that unyielding acceptance, that true, unshakable strength is found. When you cease viewing love as something to be owned, as a prized possession to be clung to at all costs, you effectively free yourself from the heavy chains of heartbreak and emotional dependency. You become, in essence, untouchable. Because the man who cannot be utterly broken by the whims of love is, paradoxically, the man who commands the deepest respect. The man who does not chase is inevitably the man who is chased, and the man who truly does not need her is ironically the man she regrets losing the most. Now, It is time for you to fully embrace this liberating mindset, to stop seeing her departure as your insurmountable loss, and to begin, with clear eyes, seeing it as your most profound lesson. You were not defeated. You were, in fact, freed. The illusion has been utterly shattered, and now, finally, you can see with unparalleled clarity. Please like this video, subscribe to Stoic Love, and turn on notifications to continue this journey of self-mastery. Drop a comment below. A Stoic man sees through illusion. 2. Control your emotions, control your life. She fully expects you to break. She anticipates you being utterly lost, drowning in the turbulent ocean of your own emotions, desperate beyond measure to get her back. She imagines you lashing out, reacting impulsively, crumbling under the crushing weight of your heartbreak. And that, precisely, is why you absolutely won't. Because the very moment you allow your emotions to control you, you effectively lose. A weak man, by definition, lets his fleeting feelings dictate his every action. He texts her late at night, his thumb hovering, foolishly hoping for one last magical conversation. He obsessively stalks her social media profiles, meticulously searching for the slightest sign, the most fleeting hint that she might regret leaving him. He drowns himself in a swirling pool of self-pity, adopting the role of the perpetual victim, clinging to the false belief that his happiness was inextricably tied to her presence. But a Stoic man, he understands a profound, unshakable truth. The man who controls his emotions ultimately controls his entire life. Think about this deeply for a moment. What invariably happens when you permit your raw emotions to take over the reins of your being? You become impulsive, acting purely on instinct. You react without careful thought, often with regrettable consequences. You operate from a place of deep-seated fear, searing pain, and a desperate, almost primal need to regain what you perceive as lost. And every single time you succumb to this emotional hijack, you unwittingly grant her even more power over you. The more you react, the more she knows, with absolute certainty, that she still holds a potent emotional leash around your heart. And when she knows that, truly knows it, she doesn't regret leaving. Instead, she feels a powerful surge of validation in her choice, confirming her belief that she was right to walk away. That's precisely why the Stoic approach is radically different. A Stoic man does not simply suppress his emotions, attempting to bury them deep beneath the surface. No, he masters them. He doesn't ignore his pain, pretending it doesn't exist. He acknowledges it fully, allowing himself to feel it. But crucially, he does not permit it to dictate his actions or his future. He takes a deliberate step back. He detaches himself from the immediate emotional storm, and he consciously chooses how he will respond. Why? Because he understands that true strength is not found in the complete absence of emotion, but in the unwavering ability to remain unshaken, unswayed, and uncompromised by it. Imagine this vivid scene. A fierce, consuming fire burns deep within you. It is the raw pain, the searing anger, the profound frustration of losing someone you deeply cared for. A weak man, consumed by this internal blaze, allows that fire to engulf him entirely, transforming his intense emotions into reckless, self-destructive actions. But a Stoic man, he doesn't let the fire control him. He doesn't become its victim. Instead, he skillfully harnesses it. He deliberately uses it as potent fuel, as powerful motivation, as an unyielding force to elevate himself, to become something greater, rather than allowing it to utterly destroy him. That, my friends, is what makes a man truly powerful. Not his ability to love with overwhelming intensity, not his desperate pleas or attempts to prove his worth, but his profound ability to remain indifferent in the face of significant loss. The moment you cease reacting, the moment you stop actively seeking her validation, the moment you truly stop caring whether she regrets her decision or not, you win. And here's the fascinating twist, the profound irony. When she observes you utterly unaffected, when she sees that you didn't spiral into despair, that you didn't relentlessly chase, that you didn't break down as she expected, that's when an insidious seed of doubt begins to creep into her mind. She starts to wonder, gnawingly, if she might have made the wrong choice. She begins to question whether you were, in fact, far more valuable than she had initially realized. And that, precisely, is when the entire dynamic of power dramatically shifts. Because a man who is in absolute control of himself is, by extension, a man who is in control of everything. Women are instinctively drawn to strength, to intriguing mystery, to the captivating unknown. The very moment she senses she no longer holds any control over your emotions, that's the moment she begins to wonder if she ever truly understood you at all. This is why mastering yourself is paramount. Do not react. Do not chase. Do not give her the immense satisfaction of knowing she still possesses power over you. Instead, step back, take a deep, centering breath, and reclaim your control. You are no longer the man who pathetically begs for love. You are no longer the man who desperately needs constant reassurance. You are the man who stands tall, who walks away without a single backward glance, who remains completely unmoved by the chaos swirling around him. If this message resonates with you, please give this video a like, subscribe to Stoic Love, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future powerful insights. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Power is in control, not reaction. 3. The power of walking away. Walking away isn't losing. It's profoundly winning. Because the very moment you choose to walk away, you actively reclaim your inherent value. The moment you walk away, you seize back control of your narrative and your destiny. And the moment you walk away, she begins, perhaps subtly at first, to feel the undeniable heavy weight of your absence. Most men, sadly, do the exact opposite. They cling with a desperate grip, trying to negotiate terms of their continued presence. They send exhaustive, long paragraphs, pouring out their raw emotions, foolishly hoping that she will suddenly, miraculously, realize how much they truly meant to her. But here's the brutal, unvarnished truth. She already knew. She knew precisely what she was doing when she made the conscious decision to leave. She knew you loved her deeply. She knew you would be hurt, perhaps irrevocably. And yet, she still made her choice. Now, it is unequivocally your turn to make a choice. Will you degrade yourself by desperately trying to convince someone to stay who has already mentally and emotionally departed? Will you cling to a phantom, to someone who has already, by their actions, let you go? Or will you do what a true Stoic man does, walk away without hesitation, without a lengthy explanation, and without a single shred of regret? A Stoic man understands, with profound clarity, that walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is, in fact, an ultimate demonstration of strength. Weak men cling. Weak men tirelessly try to fix what is already irrevocably broken. Weak men pathetically beg for a love that has already been explicitly withdrawn. But a man of true value knows his inherent worth. And a man who intimately knows his worth does not, under any circumstances, plead for someone else to see it. He simply, yet powerfully, removes himself from the equation. And here's the profound paradox, the delicious irony. The moment you decisively walk away, she begins to feel it deep within her. She starts to wonder, with a nagging persistence, why you didn't fight for her, why you didn't beg, why you didn't try to salvage what she casually discarded. She expected tears. She expected desperation. She expected you to frantically prove to her that she was indeed the one for you, the indispensable piece of your existence. But instead, you simply disappeared. You left her standing there, alone, wondering if she ever truly mattered to you at all. And that, my friends, is precisely where your power is found. Because people, universally, only truly value what they genuinely fear losing forever. As long as you remain present, as long as you are readily available, as long as you are patiently waiting in the background, nursing a faint hope for another chance, she knows, with absolute certainty, that she still has you as an option. But the moment you walk away for good, unequivocally and irreversibly, that's when she genuinely feels your profound absence. That's when the insidious creeping regret begins to set in. Most women don't immediately regret losing a man. No, their regret typically surfaces later, sometimes much later, when they finally realize he has definitively moved on to something demonstrably better, a better life, a better mindset, a vastly improved version of himself. They regret it profoundly when they see you thriving without them, completely unbothered, utterly unreachable. They regret it when they realize they no longer have any access to you, no claim, no possibility of return. And this, my friends, is why walking away is the ultimate power move. It's not about childishly trying to make her miss you. It's not about engaging in petty games or manipulations. It's about deeply understanding that a true king never, ever begs. A king doesn't need to convince someone to remain in his magnificent kingdom. A king simply allows those who wish to depart to gracefully leave. The moment you wholeheartedly adopt this powerful mindset, you will immediately perceive a dramatic shift in your own energy. You will cease being the man who desperately pleads for love and begin, instead, to embody the man who is inherently worthy of it. Because true value is never, ever found in desperation. True value is discovered and cultivated in profound detachment. The one who walks away first is undeniably the one who ultimately wins. And now, armed with this wisdom, you are that man. Let this truth sink in. Consider giving this video a like, subscribing to Stoic Love, and turning on your notifications for more insights. Drop a comment below. A king never begs. 4. Silence is your greatest weapon. Silence. It is, unequivocally, the most powerful and devastating response you can possibly give. No long, rambling messages filled with justifications or pleas. No frantic, desperate explanations attempting to change her mind. Just profound, unyielding silence. Because while most men frantically attempt to fix things with a deluge of words, a Stoic man wisely allows his conspicuous absence to speak volumes for him. When a woman leaves, she anticipates a powerful reaction. She fully expects anger, profound sadness, and pathetic pleading. She anticipates you desperately trying to convince her with every fiber of your being that she has made an enormous, unforgivable mistake. But the very moment you offer her absolutely nothing, the instant you vanish from her world without a single word, a tiny, unsettling seed of doubt is meticulously planted deep within her mind. Because silence forces her to sit with her own decision, to confront its reality without external noise. And that silence, my friends, it is infinitely louder than anything you could ever articulate. Most men utterly crumble when a woman departs. They flood her inbox with verbose paragraphs, painstakingly attempting to explain themselves. They beg for clarity, for closure, for one last, meaningful conversation. But every single word you send, every desperate attempt at communication, is merely a poignant reminder that she still holds undeniable power over you. That, precisely, is why silence is your greatest, most potent weapon. It systematically removes her control. It skillfully creates an intriguing aura of mystery. It compels her to wonder, to question. Why hasn't he reached out? Does he genuinely not care anymore? Did I actually make the wrong choice? That is when the profound shift truly happens. The very same woman who confidently walked away, utterly convinced she was making the right, self-serving decision, now finds herself questioning everything. Because a man who possesses the internal fortitude to walk away without a single backward glance is indeed a rare and valuable entity. And women, by their very nature, always desire what is rare, what is difficult to obtain. Silence also grants you invaluable space to reclaim yourself. No distractions, no agonizing wait for a response, no draining your precious energy on someone who has already unequivocally made her choice. You channel every ounce of that redirected energy back into yourself, into your ambitious goals, your unwavering discipline, your personal evolution. And while she is expecting you to be utterly shattered and broken, you are, in fact, thriving, building, becoming. And here's the crucial insight. Most women don't experience the full impact of a man's loss immediately. They don't immediately regret their decision. But after days, weeks, perhaps even months of consistent, unwavering silence, they begin to wonder, to genuinely ponder. Because the very moment she perceives that you are no longer available, the instant she realizes you have unequivocally moved forward without her, that's when the deep, gnawing regret truly begins to set in. She might attempt to test you. She might send a casual text, a simple "hey" out of nowhere, an innocuous probe, a random, flimsy excuse to re-establish contact. But this, precisely, is where most men tragically fail. Because the moment she receives any response, any acknowledgement from you, she knows with certainty that she still has accessible leverage over you. She wasn't reaching out because she genuinely missed you. She was reaching out to ascertain if you were still a viable option, a safety net. But the Stoic man, he remains resolutely silent, because he profoundly understands that responding would only serve to inflate her ego, not to enhance his own intrinsic value. He understands that his time, his energy, his very presence, these are rare privileges, not automatic entitlements. And the moment she carelessly threw them away, she permanently lost them. This is the profound power of silence. It masterfully shifts the control back into your capable hands. It forces her to realize that she severely underestimated you. It compels her to feel the aching emptiness of a world without you in it. And in the end, it forces her, beyond any doubt, to see exactly what she irretrievably lost. So, say nothing. Walk away, disappear completely, and allow her own mind to do all the arduous work for you. Because the man who remains silent is the man she never, ever truly forgets. If you're finding value in this, remember to like this video, subscribe to Stoic Love, and turn on notifications. Leave a comment below. Silence speaks louder than words. 5. Level up and become unreachable. The greatest revenge isn't anger. It's not about tirelessly trying to prove her wrong. It's not even about skillfully making her miss you. The greatest revenge, the most profound vindication, is becoming the man she can simply no longer have. A man so exceptionally evolved, so inherently powerful, so utterly untouchable, that even if she harbored a desperate desire to come back, she wouldn't even be in your league anymore. Most men, tragically, sit idly in their pain. They waste precious time overanalyzing every minute detail of what went wrong, obsessively dwelling on the irretrievable past, trapped in an exhausting, self-defeating cycle of regret. But a Stoic man, he refuses to waste a single invaluable second. He channels every single ounce of that raw pain, that profound hurt, into the relentless, purposeful act of building himself. He doesn't merely move on, he levels up. And this, my friends, is precisely where you differentiate yourself from 99% of other men. Because while she confidently expects you to be broken, to be a shadow of your former self, you are actively transforming. You are becoming. While she's out there seeking fleeting validation from another man, you are diligently creating a version of yourself, a future you, that she will never, ever have access to again. This is the pivotal moment you fundamentally shift your mindset. Every grueling gym session, every insightful book you devour, every hard-earned dollar you accumulate, it's no longer about proving anything to her. It's about profoundly proving something monumental to yourself, that you were always, inherently, the prize, that you never truly needed her in the first place to complete you, that she was simply a fleeting, albeit impactful chapter in your expansive story, not the entire, definitive book. When a man fully, irrevocably commits to his own self-improvement, to his personal evolution, he naturally becomes unreachable. He becomes rare, a truly unique commodity in a sea of commonality. And women, by their very nature, are instinctively drawn to what is rare, what is difficult to obtain. They don't genuinely regret losing a man who remains stagnant, who stays exactly the same. They deeply regret losing a man who evolves so far beyond them that they can no longer even comprehend him. Picture this vivid scene. Months from now, you are in the absolute best physical shape of your entire life. Your mind is razor sharp, intensely focused, and brimming with clarity. Your finances are meticulously in order, your career thriving, your very energy, your entire aura is palpably different. You walk into any room, and people immediately feel your powerful presence. You no longer desperately seek validation from others. You inherently command it. And when she, by chance, sees this elevated version of you, the regret, sharp and undeniable, hits her like a sudden, brutal storm. She will intensely wonder why she ever left. She will question, agonizingly, if she severely misjudged you. She will ponder, with a growing sense of dread, if she made the most grievous choice of her life. Because the man she so carelessly left behind is demonstrably not the magnificent man she sees standing before her now, and the cruel, undeniable reality, she can't have him back, because you're no longer available for her casual consumption. You're no longer sitting idly in the past, patiently waiting for her to offer some semblance of closure. You have leveled up, ascended far beyond her emotional and physical reach. And now you, and only you, are the one who decides who is truly worthy of your invaluable time, your precious energy, and your esteemed presence. This, my friends, is what it truly means to be profoundly powerful. It's not about cleverly getting her back, or even about reveling in her eventual regret. It's about becoming such an extraordinary man that her regret by then doesn't even remotely matter to you anymore. So stop fixating on her. Stop obsessively checking her social media. Stop foolishly waiting for any sign, any crumb that she might miss you. Instead, take every agonizing moment of pain and transform it into potent fuel for your personal growth. Hit the gym with unwavering dedication. Build your empire, brick by arduous brick. Sharpen your mind with relentless learning. Because the man who becomes untouchable ultimately wins. Like this video, subscribe to Stoic Love and turn on notifications. Drop a comment below. Evolve so she no longer fits your world. 6. Dark psychology. Reverse the power dynamic. Right now, in her mind, she believes she holds all the power. She walked away, confident in her decision. She chose someone else, convinced it was the right move, and she likely assumes you're still thinking about her, still missing her, still secretly wishing she would come crawling back. But what happens, truly, when you stop caring? What happens when you skillfully flip the script entirely? This, my friends, is where a subtle understanding of human psychology, often termed dark psychology in this context, comes into play. It's not about malice or manipulation. It's about shifting the power dynamic so profoundly that she becomes the one chasing you. And the secret, the potent key, it's not manipulation. It's not playing childish games. It is simply unwavering indifference. Because the man who is truly indifferent, the man who is genuinely detached, is the man who effortlessly holds all the power. Most men, in a desperate attempt to regain some semblance of control, try to convince a woman to come back. They post carefully curated things online, hoping to capture her attention, to provoke a reaction. They try to make her jealous, perhaps by subtly hinting at new interests or connections. They actively seek ways to remain relevant, to stay embedded in her mind. But all of these actions, every single one, stems from a deep-seated attachment. And attachment, in this context, is a profound weakness. The Stoic man, he simply disappears. Not out of petty spite, not to deliberately elicit a reaction, but because he genuinely, truly, does not care anymore about her presence or absence. And that, my friends, is what makes her mind spiral into confusion and frantic thought. Because women, instinctively, expect men to chase. They expect men to patiently wait in the background, nursing a faint hope for another chance, for a second opportunity. But when you remove yourself entirely from her world, when you go profoundly silent and become completely unreachable, she begins to panic. Because now, her certainty shatters. She's no longer sure. She wonders with growing unease why you haven't reached out. She wonders if you've already found someone new, if you've replaced her with startling speed. She wonders if she ever truly had control over you at all. And that gnawing uncertainty, that unsettling doubt, that is what meticulously cultivates her regret. Here's a truth most men tragically fail to understand. Women are inherently drawn to what they cannot control, to what remains just beyond their grasp. The very moment she senses she is losing her grip on you, her mind, almost involuntarily, turns against her. The moment she perceives, with clarity, that you no longer affect her emotionally, you instantly become valuable again. And the man who truly moves on first is, without question, the man who wins. Think about it. How many times have you witnessed a woman break up with a man, only to try and resurface, to attempt to come back, once he has truly, unequivocally moved on? It's not because she suddenly has an epiphany that he was perfectly flawless. It's because she finally realizes she no longer possesses power over him, no emotional leverage. And that realization, that perceived loss of control, is precisely what makes her want him again, makes her chase the ghost of what she let go. This is how you masterfully reverse the power dynamic. You stop chasing. You stop waiting. You stop giving her any emotional reaction whatsoever. And instead, you level up. You become utterly unreachable. And you compel her to profoundly feel your absence. Because silence is loud. And indifference. It is, paradoxically, intoxicating. And the most empowering part. By the time she finally realizes she made a monumental mistake, you won't even remotely care anymore. She'll come back. She'll test the waters. She'll try to regain her former position in your life. But you'll be so far ahead, so vastly evolved, that she will no longer fit into your elevated world. That is true power, not in trying to desperately make her regret, but in evolving so far beyond her, that her regret becomes utterly irrelevant to your magnificent journey. Remember to like this video, subscribe to Stoic Love, and turn on notifications. Drop a comment below. He who controls himself controls others. 7. Attraction through detachment. The moment you genuinely stop caring is, ironically, the precise moment she truly starts to notice. The moment you achieve authentic detachment, you become incredibly magnetic. Because absolutely nothing is more attractive, more captivating, than a man who is completely, profoundly unaffected by her presence or absence. Most men make the classic mistake of erroneously believing that attraction is generated through relentless pursuit. They are convinced that if they just try harder, if they articulate the perfect words, if they tirelessly prove their worth, or if they demonstrate an overwhelming amount of care, she will magically return to them. But here's the profound truth. Genuine attraction is not created through strenuous effort. It is, in fact, created through absence, through authentic detachment, through her sudden, undeniable realization that she is no longer the absolute center of your entire world. Women are, by their very nature, emotional creatures. They often thrive on validation, on feeling desired and important. And when you systematically remove that validation, when you cease providing her with the attention she has come to expect, she begins, almost unconsciously, to crave it. She begins to intensely wonder why you're not chasing, why you're not reacting with predictable emotional outbursts, why you seem to have moved on with such disconcerting ease. And here's the beautiful paradox, the profound irony. When you desperately want her back, she feels absolutely no urgency to return. But when you genuinely stop caring, when you truly, deeply detach yourself emotionally, she feels the immense void you left behind her. And that void, it compels her, almost against her will, to start chasing you. Yeah, because here's a truth that most men, sadly, never truly understand. Women don't genuinely want a man who needs them to feel complete. They want a man who, paradoxically, is needed by no one to feel whole. Neediness, in its rawest form, repels. Indifference, however, exerts a powerful, almost intoxicating attraction. When a man is truly emotionally independent, when he doesn't require a woman to feel complete, he becomes a rare and valuable commodity. He transforms into the kind of man that women inherently respect, deeply admire, and in a secret corner of their hearts fear losing. And the ones who do lose him, those women regret it for the rest of their lives. This is precisely why detachment is so incredibly powerful, because it fundamentally shifts the entire dynamic of the relationship. When she observes that you're no longer emotionally invested in her, when she sees that you're not just surviving but genuinely thriving without her, she begins to wonder, did I make a monumental mistake? Was he actually a far better man than I initially thought? Does he even remotely think about me anymore? And when those unsettling thoughts begin to creep into her mind, she starts meticulously searching for signs, any tiny indicator that she still matters to you. She might tentatively reach out. She might subtly react to your social media posts. She might even attempt to subtly gain your attention indirectly through mutual friends or shared spaces. But this, again, is where most men tragically fail. Because the moment she receives any response, any validation from you, she knows, with absolute certainty, that she still occupies a place, however small, in your mind. And once she knows that, the game, for all intents and purposes, is over. A true Stoic man doesn't merely act detached. He is detached at his core. He doesn't employ detachment as a manipulative tactic. He doesn't fake it to deliberately elicit a reaction. He genuinely moves forward with his life. He builds. He thrives. He becomes the kind of man who is so intensely focused on his grand mission, so utterly locked in on his profound purpose, that a woman's absence becomes completely, utterly irrelevant to him. And that, my friends, is precisely what makes him irresistible. Because women don't desire men who chase them with desperate abandon. They desire men they genuinely can't have. Men who embody an enigmatic challenge. And when she finally realizes with a crushing weight that you've truly moved on, that you no longer care whether she regrets her decision or not, that's when she starts to feel it. She lost something profoundly rare, something truly unique, something she will likely never find again. And now she has to live with that deep, pervasive regret. Remember to like this video, subscribe to Stoic Love, and turn on notifications for more wisdom. Drop a comment below. True power is never needing her. 8. The inevitable return. Why she comes back. She thought she was making the absolute right choice. She was convinced the grass was undeniably greener on the other side. She firmly believed you would always be patiently waiting in the background, nursing a faint hope for another chance, forever tethered to her memory. But now, with a dawning, unsettling clarity, she's beginning to realize something profound. She was wrong. Because while she fully expected you to chase, to beg, to desperately prove yourself worthy, you did the exact opposite. You simply disappeared. You leveled up. You became utterly unreachable. And now, she's feeling the immense, crushing weight of that colossal decision. This, my friends, is what we call the inevitable return. It happens with remarkable consistency when a man truly, profoundly detaches himself. When he ceases reacting to her subtle probes and tests. When he stops needing her validation, her attention. When he stops giving her any of his precious energy whatsoever. Because the brutal, unvarnished truth is, women rarely regret losing a man immediately after the breakup. No, their regret only truly sets in, often much later, when they finally, unequivocally see what they have genuinely lost. And that, my friends, takes time. At first, she's likely distracted. There's the intoxicating excitement of something new, a fresh start, a different dynamic, the fleeting thrill of new attention, the validation from another source, the temporary, intoxicating high of believing she made the correct move, that she upgraded her life. But after the initial dust settles, after the novelty of her new situation inevitably fades, after she fully realizes that her new relationship, or lack thereof, isn't quite as perfect, as fulfilling, or as validating as she initially imagined, that's when the deep, gnawing regret truly begins to set in. And when she looks back at you, perhaps through the lens of social media, or a chance encounter, expecting to see the broken, desperate man she so carelessly left behind, she sees someone entirely, magnificently different. She sees a man who is not just surviving, but truly thriving. A man who has upgraded his life in